Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Will, and this is Will of the Nerds, and today we're back on deck stats with another deck tech, which I guess I finally figured out the actual fucking word for the videos that I've been making after 8 videos, I guess. That's how, yeah, 8. I think that's how many I have uploaded. This is the ninth one? Yeah, but it took me 9 videos to finally figure out the word deck tech, if I haven't said it already. I think I said it in like the first or second video, but yeah. Anyway, here's the decks that I have made, and these are decks that I have actually made. So, you know, once I get a video camera up, I can like actually show you guys the amount of decks I actually have. It's kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, it's something that I like to do, which is why I'm making these videos, because I like deck techs. I like making decks. I like going through my collection and making things, even if they're not competitive or good, as you hear my dog shaking in the background. Thank you, Castiel. He's looking at me like, what? I didn't fucking do anything. I'm just getting up and walking around, stretching my legs, shoving myself through the door. Alright, so we are going to make a new deck. And this one's going to be called Gods Demand Sacrifice. If I spelled that right. I'm actually going to find a card. Okay. Sacrifice. Okay. I did spell it right. I'm not a complete moron. Don't answer that question. It's not a question. It was more like a statement. Either way, just... I know. Okay. Alright, so we, like every video, start out with a mana base. So let us get the dual lands out of the way. Alright, so we have 4 submerged boneyards, which I believe I have in another deck, but it is a dual land. It's for, you tap for a black or a blue. There it is. A blue or a black, if you want to go that way, I guess. Then we have 2, 3, 4 meandering rivers. I wonder where the river's meandering to. We have a play set of those, and that taps for white and blue. And next we have a playset of Forsaken Sanctuaries. So let's go back over her. Forsaken Sanctuary. 4 of them, white and a black. You can also use the Guild Gates, which I don't think I used because I didn't have enough of each. I had playsets of each of these, which is why I chose them. Okay, so now we will go into the basic lands. There's also tri-lands, which you can use, which would probably work better, too. You might actually want to put those in place of some of the basic lands, or take maybe 1 each out of those dual lands out and throw a tri-land in there, but that's up to you. I don't think I had enough of them to put them in there, which is why I have just dual lands. But we have 3 basic planes in here. Then we have 3 basic islands. Okay, that takes us up to 18. 1, 2, 3 islands. Okay, and then we have 4 swamps. And that gives us, what, 22, right? And I think I usually go with 24, so this might be a little on the light side. You might want to find a card to switch out. Either that or I missed mana in here somewhere. But either way, you could always find 2 cards to take out, I'm sure. But the couple times I've played this deck, it's worked out rather well, surprisingly well. I haven't really had any trouble with it. But since the black card is on top, that's what we are going to go with first. So I just gotta flip through the deck real quick and find all the black cards. Castiel, can you stop licking yourself, please? It is weird hearing that, and I'm sure everyone listening in the audio loves hearing you lapping on yourself in the background. Hey! Stop it! Stop it. He's like, Dad, stop telling me not to be a dog. That's what dogs do. I want to be a dog. Now he's huffing at me. Kids these days. Alright, so we have the first card under door number 1, Gavany Unhallowed. We have 2 of those. It's a zombie. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And as you can probably tell from the name of the deck, it's God's Demand Sacrifice. So you're going to be sacrificing stuff. So that creature's... It might not get huge, but it'll get a little beefy. And then next we have Diagraph Colossus, which I believe does the same purpose, but works with stuff in your graveyard. I believe it gets big depending on how many stuff you have in your graveyard. +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. And I think that's pretty much everything in here is a zombie, except for a few cards. And then whenever you cast a zombie spell, you create a token. So, cool. It gets a +1/+1 counter. So, it's not getting a +1/+1 for each card in your graveyard. You're getting a counter. So, you sacrifice creatures, and you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it doesn't go away. So that could actually get pretty big, and you bring those creatures back. And here's where bringing some of the creatures back comes in handy. So we have Cemetery. There it is. Cemetery Recruitment for 2 of them. And it returns a card to your hand. And if it's a zombie, draw a card from your graveyard to your hand. So obviously you want to be able to bring some of those cards back, since you are sacrificing them, you know. Oh, nope, never mind. I found another Cemetery Recruitment. I lied. There are 3 in this deck. Look at me. I don't even know my own deck. Not even flipping through to check and see if I have everything. Alright, now we have Emit Eternal. We have 2 of those. I think this has Afflict, right? Afflict 3. So if it becomes blocked, you're losing 3 life compared to 5 life. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on him, and when it deals combat damage to a player, remove them. So this is probably a card that you can get rid of for something else. It's probably something that maybe I would put into Graveyard Return, or throw more lands in your deck. That'd probably be the smart thing to do. I might actually do that personally. So we have Kenra Eternal here. 2 of them. I believe this has an Afflict 2. This has an Afflict 1. So, I mean, take your pick. It's either Emit Eternal or Kenra Eternal that you could probably swap in and out. I'd probably keep the Emit Eternal, to be honest, just because it's a big threat pretty quick at turn 3. And guess what? One of my favorite cards, Murder. We got 2 of them in here. You know, you're gonna be killing stuff, obviously. And you can probably get rid of Murder and put in lands there. Then we have Ever After, which I believe puts stuff back into your hand. Where is it? Yeah, return 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures is a zombie. So, and this goes back into your library, which is nice. It goes to the bottom of the library, but still, unless somebody counters it, you're gonna keep drawing cards, and you won't have to worry about getting decking yourself out. Now, Mill, on the other hand, that's a completely different story. All right, now we have Sidici's. Oops. Sidisi, Undead Vizier. 2 of those, so that is another Zambi. It's a legendary one with Death Touch exploit. You may search your library for a card and put that into your hand and shuffle your library. Okay, that is not terrible. That's when it exploits, but again, you're sacrificing, and you kind of want to sacrifice creatures. So now we can let's go to the blue cards. And boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, so I think, yeah, I see some cards already that you can get rid of that I would probably get rid of. Because you really don't need them in this deck. So cancel is something that I would probably keep in the deck. It protects some of your later game stuff that you want. But I have Chronic Flooding in here. Chronic Flooding, I'll read it for you. So you enchant a land. Whenever you enchant a land becomes tapped, the controller puts the top 3 cards of his or her graveyard into his or her library. Now, I'm going to set that off to the side because there might actually be a card that works with that, which is why that's in here. But off the top of my head, I do not remember. Okay, so this one works in here. Dismiss, which is, it's a counter spell, but it costs 1 more, but it lets you draw a card. So it's kind of a late game thing, mid game thing. Kind of, maybe you're running out of steam, you just haven't found that card yet. You get to counter a spell and draw a card. All right, now we have Eternal of Harsh Truths. Eternal of Harsh Truths. Boom. I don't know why I did that. We're not going to read that yet. We need to take this guy and throw him over here. Afflict 2. When it attacks and isn't blocked, you get to draw a card. Again, it's just a zombie card that needs, because it's a zombie deck. It works around having zombies. So it's easier just to have zombies in the deck. I'm sure you can find better blue zombies to put in here. That's all I had. So that's a card that obviously, again, can be switched out. And like this next card it's one of the heavy hitter cards. It's something that it works around. So we have God Eternal Caffnet. We have 2 of those in here. So let's read this. Flying, you may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card, and you may cast the copy. The copy costs 2 less to cast. Okay. And when it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library 3rd from the top. So it's basically meant to help you out with recasting instant in sorcery spells. So like Ever After, Murder, Cemetery Recruitment. So Cemetery Recruitment, like you play one of them and you only have to pay a black mana to cast it again because of the God Eternal. And you get to draw 2 cards. Like honestly, sacrificing stuff is good in this deck because you're going to get it back and there's going to be another card that helps with the sacrifice and the reason you want to sacrifice. I kind of forgot why this was in here, but reading it now, a lot of those cards that get your stuff back from the graveyard, this helps with it because it makes the mana cost of it cheaper and you get to do it multiple times. You get to do it a second time. So that helps. So that basically doubles the amount of instants and sorceries you have in your deck. So that's where I would probably take some of these blue cards or some of these smaller cards and maybe put some blue card draw stuff in here. Maybe you draw more cards. Maybe you'd put some other better zombies in here. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure like a lot of you diehard Magic players know a lot of blue zombies you could put in here. And now we can look at the white cards, which there's not a whole lot of white cards in here. So the first one we have is Fumigate. And Fumigate kind of helps with everything. It's kind of a restart. Destroy all creatures and you gain 1 life. So it's going to kill everything. What's nice about Fumigate is having it in this deck is you can board wipe yourself, but guess what? You can go back and get your stuff. Your opponents probably can't. And you're going to gain life. So you gain life. And then the chances of you, if you haven't played them already, the chances that you have at least 2 cards you have Ever After in your library. So you have Fumigate, you play Fumigate, and you can get a few of your cards back from the graveyard. So you're already off to a better start than your opponents because you're destroying them. They're not returning to the hand. So this next card is... it is in here as a backup Wincon. And some of you might not like this card, but it's in here. 2 Approach of the Second Sons. Okay, so it really doesn't do anything the first time you cast it. It only works if you cast it the second time. So once you cast it the first time, it goes 7th from the top, and you just gain 7 life. And then this is where maybe having a few other blue cards, maybe some, if there's some zombies that maybe die and let you draw cards, that might be the better place to have them in a blue slot other than some of the other ones. Because then you might be able to work better with the Approach of the Second Son. Because if they die, you draw a card, or if something happens, you draw a card. But that approach isn't the main reason it's in this deck. It's in there as like a secondary win con compared to everything else. So now we have Diagraph Captain, which I believe is kind of a staple for zombie decks. Death Touch. Other zombies get a +1/+1. Whenever a zombie dies, target opponent loses 1 life. And if you're going to be sacrificing zombies, and your zombies are going to be dying, opponent's going to be losing 1 life, you're going to resurrect your zombies, going to chump block, they're going to die. It's going to be... you can probably find a combo, never-ending cycle that you can go with that. And now we have... oh, there we go. 2... oh, I guess it's the Scarab God. But we have the Scarab God at 2. 1, 2. Let's go down here. So this is one of the main cards that you want in here. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X card, where X is the number of zombies you control. This is why you want to play zombies in this deck. So exile target creature card from a graveyard. It doesn't have to be your graveyard. And then you create a copy of it, except it's a zombie. And when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So he's big because the deck kind of works around him a little bit. Because you're going to be creating zombies. You're not really creating a huge army of zombies. He would probably go better in like a big zombie deck. Big zombie heavy deck. But he's mainly in here for that scry. And your opponents lose life. Because you have him out. He's going to do a little bit of damage with the zombies you have. Granted, your whole deck is filled with zombies other than this last card that I'm going to do. So, like, he's going to be taking a decent amount of life. And you're going to be scrying a decent amount of cards. So that first ability is good. And then you can exile anything from a graveyard. And what's nice about those two gods is like they eventually come back around. They don't die. If they go into the graveyard, or if they die, if they go in the graveyard, I don't think they do anything. If they die, you get them back. So the last card that this deck is mainly built around, is Vishkal, Blood Arbiter. We have 3 of them. So, flying, lifelink, sacrifice a creature, which is why there's a lot of sacrifice stuff in here. Put X+1/+1 counters on him, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. So, it might not be much sacrificing zombies, 2/2 zombies, or whatever. But the second ability is what you want. So you sacrifice, somebody's got a big, beefy creature out that you don't know how to get rid of. You can sacrifice a bunch of your creatures, knowing that you're going to get them back, and that you have God Eternal Caffnet that's going to let you cast the instant and sorcery card again at a discount, and you're getting 2 or 4 of your creatures back out of your graveyard after you sacrificed them. And you're going to be given -1/-1 counters to your opponent's creature that's in the way, and you're killing it. So, like, that's the whole point of sacrificing stuff. So, I have Chronic Flooding. There's honestly really no point in having it in here. I would probably, maybe you add another cancel. I would maybe find another zombie, honestly, to put in here. I'm just gonna, let's just add another swamp and add another island, right? That gives you 60. I would honestly take Chronic Flooding out and throw another zombie in there. I might actually do some research and like go through and take the 8 cards out that I don't see really need to be in here. Because there's some other zombies that have extort, is that what it is? That you sacrifice stuff and they do things, and it kind of benefits better. And then maybe have a couple more cards that let you bring stuff back from graveyard, and maybe a couple more card draw stuff. But there's maybe like 6 to 7 cards you can get rid of out of this. All right, let's save that. Right, we will hit OK. I didn't look at the price of the last one, but this one is $83 from TCG Player. Okay, that's not bad. There's 6 instants, 9 sorceries, 21 creatures in it, 24 lands, which is usually the normal that I go with. Let's look at the details. Okay, so 31 produce white, but only 15%, but about half of these are actually plains, so that matches up. Okay, that's pretty good. And again, like, out of these two, some of it does black mana too. Alright, and okay, that's not bad. Let's look down. Yeah, $83. Visual spoilers, there you go. I'll have to go through and do like the actual like stuff too. Add these to my collection. And we'll look at the starting hand. That's not good. We'll go with a new hand. That's even worse. So, mulligan. All right, that's a lot better. Let's start with Submerged Boneyard, Meandering River, Forsaken Sanctuary, and we'll play that so we can get that out. And now you're hitting like everything. So, I mean, it's a good thing you got Fumigate now, because, you know, nobody's probably really going to be looking at you with that zombie there. You know, I mean, having murder definitely helps you out. You know, you have approach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You need one more mana. I mean, right now you'd be playing pretty defensive. Murder, cancel, fumigate if you need to. Hopefully nobody's really looking at you. Like I said, I play a lot of multiplayer, so hopefully nobody's really looking at you there. There you got Diagraph Captain. Where's that one more mana? You're still not getting that one more mana. Yeah, so... pardon me, I'm parched. But, yeah, you're still looking for that last mana. Maybe you throw 2 more mana in this deck. Jeez. That will do it for this. So let's go back to the decks. Let's go to my decks. If you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And let me know what you guys think of these videos. And if you want to see more, or if you want to see more MTG content, or if you just want to see more like collectible stuff or nerd stuff in general other than gameplay, which I'm willing to do. And that's probably where the channel's more than likely going to head, in that direction. I do want to get some D&D character creation stuff up too, so keep an eye out for that. And with that, I will see you guys on the next one.